time, your gateway to the world. A-F-R! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is February 7, 2013. Hope you had a wonderful day, because we sure have a wonderful show in store for you here on Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at SoulJourneysRadio.com. It's kind of turning into be the show behind the show. In fact, I want to thank you guys. Tuesday night, I guess we found out how to make the gardening shows fun and interesting for men. Thank you, Noelle Man and Casey, who told the chatters to close their eyes and replace the word plants with pants. So I'm going to have to try that for myself. So I don't know. I guess we can pick a word tonight and see how that goes. But Tobias Lars, St. Toby One Kenobi, our special guest tonight. We are going to be talking about science and consciousness, spiritual physics, light, gravity, levity, and why Darwin was a dunce. Thanks for that, Tobias. His website is Soul
That's a joke, by the way.
Oh, don't lie. He's lying. Okay.
It's so hard to joke about anything. People get all, like, you're making fun of science. You're making fun of God. You notice that it's about the same. Yes, I have websites. Soulcounseling.com. You can reach me there. That's cool. Tobias Lars on YouTube. I am Mr. Interruptus. That is what I do.
That's okay. I won't give your website out or your book or your, personal awakening sessions or, what the heck?
No, it's so good. Usually what you say is so good on the intro. I'm like, oh, I want to jump in on that. You ever notice that people get offended? They're like, you're making fun of science? How dare you compare science to the fundamentalist idiot Christians or theologists? Well, because you're equally uptight. But, make fun of science if you dare question. See, one of the hallmarks, and I can say some of this because my dad was a nuclear...
You can say it all.
Was a nuclear physicist. I grew up, when I'm like 5, 6, 7, 10, growing up, there's scientists flying in from all over the world. My dad's on these conferences, around the planet. And it's the total, this is like the egghead scientism, physicists, you know what I'm saying? Nuclear physicists, are you kidding? Niels Bohr type guys, okay? These are guys like Schrödinger. These guys, they can't help it. They start entering into the world of philosophy just because of the nature of, they're trying to look at the nature of reality. You start with, quote, like psychology. Come on, that's not a science. That's like fluffy crap, all right? Biology is barely a... Sociology, are you kidding me? That's not a science. I'm speaking now from the perspective of physicists and, quote, hardcore scientists, okay? Sociology, psychology, are you kidding me? That's as bad as advertising. That's not a science, right? And then when you finally get to biology, well, yeah, biology, it sort of counts because you have cells and organs and hearts and kidneys and, you're dealing with neurons and things. But that's way, way after us physicists. Because from science, from biology, you go to what? To go deeper, you go into what? You go into chemistry. Because molecules make up cells, the basic organelles of cells, and, mitochondria and the cell walls and, the origins of life and all that, right? You deal with that, Crick, Watson, all that, the origins of life, blah, blah, blah. And then what's deeper than biology is, of course, chemistry. We're dealing with materials. These are real materials. We start with the hydrogen atom and the helium and you go up the scale, the chemical table, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's sort of a hard science, but the real science is physics, because physics is about going into the atom and deconstructing and separating the atom into its parts And we will make up stuff like protons and neutrons and electrons and keep it simple, right? Except all of that has been breaking down, actually, since the beginning of it. But, they don't talk about it in school. We train the kids one way, and the real stuff is completely something else. So anyway, physicists feel they are the real scientists. The rest of everything is built on their work. So they are the end-all, be-all, final say in the nature of physical, or for that matter, since there is no other reality than physical, they are, in their views, the final say on reality. This is why you can have Stephen Hawking in his wheelchair. Now, I know I'm making fun here, but I'm doing both, because physicists, scientists have no problems. Look up Richard Dawkins on YouTube, being belligerent, angry, belittling of anyone who has any belief in anything, quote, that he can't see with his eyes. Never mind, he has super thick glasses. Now, I'm being a little nasty because that's how he is. Okay, look up Richard Dawkins. It's a belligerent anger at anything theological, anything spiritual, anything that they can't look at with an electron microscope.
Yeah.
So what you end up finding is that scientism followers and religionism followers are equally uptight about you making fun of their dogma.
Definitely.
Their belief system. So they're really the same thing. They just have a different belief system. And this stems from, now, by the way, this is all my opinion. Please don't be offended. We're trying to make some light of this. This is almost like trying to get, the battle of the sexes to talk to each other. This is equally difficult to try to get theologians and scientists to actually find some common ground. It's like trying to get men and women to find some common ground. It's almost as difficult. Right?
Hey, Tobias, we have 4 scientists on the line already. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm not. No, I'm joking, but see, it's so true. It's like when they figure out that what they learned, whatever, Sunday school or something isn't true, then they switch to the other spectrum, and then, if you suggest that, something that science is telling us might not be the whole truth, they freak out. They don't use the "you're going to hell" thing, but...
Yeah, they do. But they just say it, and you're going off into superstitious land.
Yes.
You're in superstitious la-la land, which to them is basically like someone who's a Christian or a Muslim or whatever saying you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Well, you're in superstitious la-la land. I'm writing you off as a human being. You're a nut job.
Yes, that's true.
What's the difference? You're writing someone off as a nut job. Mm-hmm. Either you're an infidel, or you're going to hell, or you're in la-la land, religious, frickin' la-la, superstitious, believing in the big man in the sky land. We're writing people off because they do not use the same belief system that we do. Scientism does this. Mm-hmm. Again, just go watch... and of course, see, now this is my opinion, and I really don't want to do any arguing about it. I've done it for years and lifetimes. I'm done, So we're trying to have some fun with and maybe some perspective on belief systems and what is fundamental. But so physicists, my dad was one. That's where I went at first. I said, I'll be a physicist because, it makes sense. You're studying something real. Mm-hmm. You're actually trying to find out what the heck makes up this table. There's molecules in here, but what the heck is that all about, It's kind of a cool thing. And then I remember going at the University of Connecticut, my freshman year, I came across a book, just, quote, accidentally, because there's no such thing as coincidence in the scientific community. There's lots of, you can explain everything away, even if it's statistically off the chart, right? There's no such thing as coincidence. It's all random. That's the belief system, so that's what you get. But anyway, so I went into this book came across my desk, across my mind, called the Tao of Physics, as in the Tao, the Tao of Physics. And I read that, and I just, oh my God, at the same time, I was also awakening personally. I couldn't deny it. I had these experiences that we could talk about. Yeah. And I read this book by Fritjof Capra, and I forget if he actually was at Stanford or where he learned, or they published the book out of Berkeley, California, but he wrote some beautiful things in there showing how inside an atom, the descriptions that Niels Bohr, or these guys Heisenberg would be talking about, electrons being both energy and a particle. I mean, the dual schizophrenic Jekyll and Hyde quality of electrons is pretty weird if you think about it. It is both energy and a solid particle. This is accepted, basically. Now, it's been a long time since I've been into this, so I'm not going to get all my facts, and I'm not going to have current papers to quote and all that stuff. I don't have it. Okay?
So nothing you say can be true.
Exactly. Because you have to have someone else to confirm it. It's kind of like our law.
We have to read it in Time magazine. Mm-hmm.
But this is interesting. We have to have outer authority telling us it is so. It's sort of like our law system. Our whole law system is based on precedent, meaning something that has preceded it. We are quoting Katz versus Hinkeldorfer from 1973. This is the precedent, Your Honor, meaning you don't want to step out and do anything on your own. You just want to do, well, he did it too, so I'm going to do it too. Well, Johnny did it too, Mommy. That's all our whole law system is based on.
Yeah, I use you. I mean, you're my excuse. Well, Tobias said I could, or Tobias said so.
Okay.
So
I'm going to change my name, I guess. No, I'm kidding. So our whole law system is based on precedent, preceding. It has been before, not proceedings, not legal proceedings, but preceding cases. So a lawyer will go in and try to convince the judge. I'm just demystifying it here for us. And it takes years to learn this stuff because no one teaches you this stuff in school. It teaches you the 50 states and, algebra and stuff, just stuff you'll never, algebra. Come on, who's ever going to use that? Calculus? Are you kidding? No one's ever going to use that stuff. So preceding cases, what happened in similar circumstances? Well, the judge in Massachusetts decided in this favor at that point. We have 3 cases, Your Honor, that have all decided this direction. You don't want to stick your neck out and be different than your other judges, do you? Because you'll look stupid. Don't you think we should also decide the same way they did before you? That's our whole law system, right there in a nutshell.
Exactly.
Fear of looking stupid. Being controlled by approval from fellow citizens. Looking different. Asking a stupid question in class. That fear runs our legal system, our government, and our scientific community.
Yeah.
Deathly afraid of sticking their nose out no matter what the evidence is. You want to go along with the crowd because if you go along with the crowd, you will likely not get hurt.
Isn't it funny? At least the churches have a backbone to stand out from the others.
Right. So this human tendency, yeah, some do. Human tendency of who's the big gorilla in the field of anthropology, or it doesn't matter. Who has the most published papers? Who has the most respect? It's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
No different than walking down the halls of your high school. The scientific academic community is basically a popularity contest. Not all, pretending, well, it's not that there's, but if an upstart, if someone who has no name at some come on, a community college, ixnay on that. Some little ridiculous state university, nah, not so much. Unless they happen to create a good department. Let's say the psychology department, has a good reputation. The rest of the school is crap. And then so it's all this little, what clique, what fraternity are you a part of in the academic community? Who has a name? You understand? And if you go outside the established boundaries or are too far ahead of your time, can you say Nikola Tesla? You are basically, rage is turned on you. Rage is turned on you. Here's the example I use a lot. And this is also part of the schizophrenic dichotomy and attack and opposition against each other between the religious community and the scientific community. Galileo, right? So he was the guy, again, I haven't done this for so many years. If I get some facts wrong, of course, you can dismiss me totally as a total kook because he placed his comma in the wrong place. He's completely an idiot. right?
Yes. So would disregard everything you've ever said and done.
So that's a typical one, for instance. That's often when you start confronting someone's belief system. If you can prove that, you said chapter and verse that wasn't John 3:16. That was Mark 3:14. Everything you say is wrong. Now, that's how the religious people do it. The scientific community will do it. Oh, you misquoted that paper. That was not Johnson, Cucumber, and et al. That did that. That was a different scientific paper. Therefore, you cannot be trusted at all. It is the same ego modus operandi to dismiss what someone is saying by simply finding fault with them, and therefore you're able to dismiss the whole thing. Mm-hmm. That's a typical ego-human response of doing it as well. Back to Galileo. Galileo came up with a telescope, right? And he's actually realizing that, oh my God, the sun doesn't go around the earth, as the Pope over there says, but the earth revolves around the sun. And at the University of Genoa, I believe it was, in Italy, he tried to get his fellow professors. Now, you got to understand, in Europe, there's been universities, my little hometown in Sweden, the university's been there 1,000 years. Versus Uppsala, 1,000 years. That's different than America. America's a young, upstart, crazy little puppy. And when Johnny Depp tried to say that, America started freaking out and attacking him. When someone asked him what he thought America was like, he said,
yep, it's time. Hold that there. And, really, who needs Hypatia when you have Galileo? But it's that time. We'll be back after this short break. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars on fire tonight here at Soul.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. My God, you guys are cracking me up in the chat room, and I don't really know if this is going to be able to fly tonight, but Noelle and Casey decided the words of the day are spirit equals sperm, science equals egg, and every time Tobias says the, a, and it all means P-H-U-C-K. So good luck with that. Anyways, welcome back, Science and Consciousness. And Tobias, you left off talking about Galileo and had a really wonderful quote. So
that thing in the chat is exactly why scientists throw up their hands and go, "There's no hope."
I think religionists would probably say the same thing.
And exactly, that was my next step.
They might agree there.
That's why the priests throw up their hands and go, "There's no hope." Let's just all watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High together. Yeah.
Yeehaw!
Mr. Spicoli. Let's just stay there. Right on. No. So, I was going to say, so Galileo was an Italian scientist. It was not at the University of Genoa. At Pisa, the Leaning Tower. You know that Leaning Tower of Pisa? Anyway, he did come up with the first broaching of, he didn't invent the telescope, Copernicus or Kepler, I forget who. astronomers. But part of what Galileo did was to decide that the sun is really central and the Earth rotates around the sun, not the other way around. This got him in massive amounts of trouble with the church, because the church, of course, we are the center of the universe, and the sun rotates around us, and we know everything, and God told us to tell you what is correct. So they put him under house arrest, Galileo, for the latter part of his life, because he brought up this heretic idea that the Earth actually rotates around the sun. So there was a schizophrenic, schizoid, oppositional thing seeded that started with Galileo as a scientist and the church. And it's been going on ever since, this battle between the church and science. And of course, Galileo is correct. Of course, science is beautiful. True science is beautiful. Back in Atlantean times, science and priests were scientists. There's no difference. It is an investigation into phenomena, you could say, into what is, how things function, how things work. That's the beautiful aspect of it, Coming to something without prejudice, meaning no prejudgment. Do not judge what's right here. Or, let's look at what it is and try to figure it out. Now, here's where I would suggest, and again, this is my suggestion, that as it gets difficult for science, because when we assume we're objective, like the TV show 2020, what does that imply? How many people have watched or heard of that show and never, ever realized the reason? Why is it called 2020? Because they're saying we see with 20/20 eyesight. The rest of you are dumb.
Yes,
right?
We are.
Right?
They might be right.
That's 2020. We're showing you the truth, the right way, the
only way,
correct way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to ask just now, why are we so adamant and getting our panties in such a wad and so uptight about having to know the truth, the only right way to look at things? That's not the right way to look at it, Johnny. Right? Yeah. Why would human beings be... This is just a question. We have to answer it, but it's a good exploratory question. A spiritual inquisition, how about this? A spiritual inquiry, not the Spanish not the Roman Inquisition that went after Galileo, not the Spanish Inquisition, but the Roman Inquisition went after Galileo. But a spiritual inquiry, like a la Ramana Maharshi, who used to basically just ask people to start asking the question, who am I? If you start pulling that string, eventually you might find out. Right? Ask and you shall...
be left hanging again.
Too, right? So spiritual teachers will usually try to get people to go into themselves to inquire. Now, science will make fun of that. Navel gazers. Right?
There you go.
It used to be popular in the 60s. Navel gazing, that'll get you far. So that's the shaming thing that's used. It's like, let's do some, why don't we all just sing Kumbaya together? Right? Making fun of anything that would involve the aspects of the human being, such as feelings. Let's make fun of Barbra Streisand's song, Feeling, right? We make fun of it. Why?
Because we're afraid of it.
Yeah, because it's the best way to make sure we don't look there.
Mm-hmm.
So the human being then, in the scientific perspective, I would suggest has been reduced to mental power. Mentalism, meaning, again, it's part of our school system, which is the regurgitation education system, meaning there's the professor puking, professing up there in the front of the class. Here, the established facts as we know them. By the way, what does the word fact mean? Factum in Latin? It just means an act, an achievement, an activity. doesn't mean anything about truth. It just means a thing. A thing. Okay?
Yeah.
It just means a thing. It doesn't speak anything about truth. Fact just means here's a thing, here's a fact, a piece of fact, piece of data, an achievement, something that is there. There it is. We agree. But it doesn't mean anything that's the truth, or my way of seeing it is the only way to see it. You know. So make fun of things, you know, getting people shamed. Don't look into that. I remember for years feeling weird if I would want to meditate. Like there's this white Protestant thing that rage is okay, drink beer, throwing footballs, violently screaming for your sports team, that's all accepted. Killing each other with drones, shooting each other in the head, all accepted, normal, good, healthy human behavior. Sitting quietly and closing your eyes and meditating, that's really weird, man. You're just weird, man. That's weird, dude. It's been a shaming system, just like the UFO question.
Yeah.
Showing how the snicker factor, yeah, it's like those loony 9/11 conspiracy theories, George.
Yeah, the people who don't believe in global warming, they're just like the ones who don't believe we landed on the moon.
Are they meeting with the Flat Earth Society, George? Right? It's the make fun of factor. And true scientism, true science, or true inquiry, whether it's spiritual inquiry or scientific inquiry, true inquiry has no prejudice and does not use the giggle factor or does not shame or make fun of. It is trying to be an impartial observer, noticer of things as they are. That is the same ideal as a yogic system, the yogic inquiry. Who am I? A true scientist is the same as Ramana Maharshi's yoga system. You are inquiring without prejudice. You are fresh in the moment. You have no history. You are observed. Things only move forward when they're not locked up in tradition or history.
Yeah.
Galaxies got killed for daring to step out of the tradition at the time. Sir Isaac Newton, the other saint of science, you could say Aristotle, Galileo, and Sir Isaac Newton are the three saints of science. You could say Aristotle, Galileo, and Newton are the three most powerful people might agree with that. Newton had to hide from the establishment at the time his lifelong research on alchemy and prophecy from the scientific community at the time because he knew it would have been considered weird, far out, the giggle factor, heresy, blah, blah, blah. So I would really love if there would be, and humans can only be controlled if you have shame inside you, if you're a healthy human being, then you can be made to be controlled by your fear of people making fun of you.
Yeah.
Being disapproved of. People will kill themselves when they lose face.
Yeah, true.
Character is the most important. Your character, son, is the most important thing. You can make and lose millions, son, but if you lose your character, you're finished.
Yeah, and then we believe our character is completely dependent on what other people say.
So feel the shame in that. Feel that programming that goes into the 6-year-old boy. Character, son. So then you use that when they go to boot camp. We teach character here. Well, what does that mean? Shut up. Just do what we tell you. So this is how you control mind control people. The fear of looking stupid. Again, I'm bringing it back to, and this is the exact same thing. Now, I'm going to bring it up with Galileo. When Galileo came up with the improvement in the telescope, the story goes, I think it's factual. But, these are stories. But it's certainly out there and historically and so forth as a story. Galileo tried to tell the other professors at the University of Pisa, come look in my telescope. I will show you some things about the universe out there that are different than what the church is telling you. I don't know, Mars, the moon, whatever he was showing them. And they were so scared, they literally refused to put their eyeball up to the lens and look through the telescope. Their fellow professors, these are leading intellectual men of their time in Italy. They were so scared by looking stupid, being shown something that they're going to get in trouble for, that they refused to go put their eyeball on the telescope of one of their colleagues. This wasn't some nutjob guy in a sackcloth preaching in the streets like Jesus. This was a fellow colleague. This is how programmed human beings are. So how can you get at any real truth when we're programmed to look stupid? So Galileo was daring to stick his neck out. God bless him. Now, Isaac learned 300 years later, I better not tell anybody else about my secret studies of alchemy. I'll just start talk about gravitational force and the laws of thermodynamics and so forth, and I'll be fine and honored, and I'll become a sir and knighted by the queen. Yeah. So that's the way it's been. Filtered it's still that way out there in our scientific community. When someone sticks out the neck, if it's not accepted with the current scientific dogma at the time, like for example, let's say metal balls, perfectly round balls, don't have fun with that. Casey, that's all.
I can hear him now. He said balls.
Billion-year-old, B with a boy, billion-year-old rock strata schist. Yeah, that's another good word for you. In the mines of South Africa, because they're digging way down deep for diamonds, right, and gold, they found these perfectly spherical metal balls that were obviously machined because they would have these perfect triple grooves in them around the equator of the sphere. What would they be doing in billion-year-old rock? They would have to break the rock open to find it. There's other anomalies like this all around. Look up Forbidden Archaeology by Mike Primo. Our planet is full of these disruptive, don't make sense. They find the battery in ancient Babylon. There's all kinds of stuff like that. They find a hole in northern Norway up there through solid granite in the shape of a star that's been drilled like 10 feet straight through a rock, perfectly shaped like a star.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Tobias, I'm sorry. Hold that right there. It is that time. And I did find that website, by the way. It's forbiddenarchaeology.com. But we will be right back after these few short minutes. Stay tuned, everyone. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com. His website is soulcounseling.com, or you can go to courseofawakening.com. Com. Science and consciousness is the topic tonight. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And if you'd like to join us on the text chat, we are also joined by Carol Brady and Beavis tonight. So it's an exciting time in the chat. But Tobias, you left off telling us all about your wormhole. Sorry. And unmute yourself.
Thank you. You must be psychic, High Priestess Christie.
Oh,
You're
no,
right.
no, not me.
Not with you, Tobias. All I know I just need to say, unmute yourself, please.
I'm learning.
After a couple of years, I know what to tell Tobias. Unmute yourself, please.
So how is that wormhole?
Well, let's send some people people you don't like. You can actually send into your wormholes and get rid of. It actually works.
They ain't touching my wormhole.
That's another. Careful what you let through your wormholes. Absolutely.
That's right.
This is the banner over the Galactic School that it teaches about alternate parallel realities. That sort of like it says over, the School of Physicians, it says, physicians, heal thyself first. Over the Galactic School, it says, careful who you let into your wormhole.
Definitely. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's another topic. So tell us about your wormhole.
Well, this one's... See how inappropriate we are? This is like any scientist in their left mind would dismiss us instantly.
And religionist.
Yeah, too. I'm glad.
We're screwed.
Actually, it's good because we can leave them to fight it, duke it out amongst each other. It's so funny. This schism happened at Galileo's time, this church versus science, is still going on today. So you still have that remnant, the same souls come back, and they have this anger, hatred for the church, and the church then has this hatred for science. It's this strange battle, like we said. But what I was talking about, there's anomalies. So inside any environment, whether you go up to a Christian or a religionist or a Muslim or someone who believes a particular sect stuff, and you show them something different. I'll give you an example. There's a teacher in India who wears orange robes, and Nityananda, he calls himself, young guy. And I went to see him actually once just to feel it, and I remember telling Joyce, same stuff, same crap, same BS, very old school, which, it's the old guru thing, which is coming apart at the seams, really, the old guru thing about giving our power away to outer things. Now, notice this. Giving our power away to outer things, because every true teacher says what? The kingdom of heaven or your awakening is not in textbooks, not in law books, not in outer gurus, but where? Within. The kingdom of heaven is within.
Thursday night at Soul Journeys Radio. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Within. And this has to do with how the physics of the universe work. Mm. But anytime you place it outside yourself, because before space-time, before there is anything created, that's what you are. That's what we are. I'm postulating that we are that thing that creates very space and time, that creates gravitic fields. We create gravity, consciousness, whatever that is. Follow Ramana Maharshi's advice, who am I? And you'll start touching your own consciousness. Mm. Consciousness is more fundamental. In other words, if there is no consciousness, can you observe anything? Feel that one. If you are not conscious, are you observing anything? No. You're unconscious. Mm-hmm. So therefore, let's say this whole physical universe, as some scientists will say, well, it exists regardless if there's human beings here to see it or not. Mm. Okay. Yeah. But if there's no one there to observe it, if there's no aware consciousness, then you can't observe it. I mean, it's just basic. See, we're so programmed like this, our brains start going, I don't get it. That's too much to think about. Where's Spicoli? Right? I need it. I need beer. I need beer.
Definitely. This is too much.
It's too much. I need Cheetos and beer. Right. And so, or football. I need the Super Bowl. I need Beyonce. I want to watch Beyonce gyrate. That's what I want. Please. Can I just have Cheetos and beer and Beyonce and I'll be happy? Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So, but think about it for a second. There's nobody without observation, consciousness, there's nothing to observe. So consciousness is more fundamental. And we're learning, there's scientific experiments now, the observer effect, Schrodinger's cat, that if there's no one there observing it, does it exist? Or do we affect it? We actually affect things. There's experiments that show now, by us looking at it, it gets affected. Here, I'll give you a big one. The CERN, C-E-R-N, I forget what the acronym stands for, in Switzerland, the big, giant linear accelerator, and then they built a Hadron Collider, and I quit following all that stuff years ago. But anyway, early on, when they're basically smashing atoms. They're spending billions of dollars building a giant racetrack underground where they speed up atoms. Okay, they throw them around to the close to the speed of light as they can get around this big circular accelerator, hold them in place with magnets, I believe, or whatever they do it. Smash these two little atoms, hydrogen atoms, together and try to break them up. It's basically like kids taking a hammer, smashing the radio to see what's inside. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on this without most advanced scientists in the world that go to the CERN, to the Hadron and Linear Collider, to try to find the source of reality of the universe. Okay? That's what they're doing. They smash the hydrogen atoms together, and they exist for milliseconds, these little particles, that they then take pictures of, because they're way too short to see it. You know, they survive these little broken up pieces. Are they? They're trying to find the subatomic particles. They smash the atom to try to find the subatomic particles because it has to be made of particles. Our universe has to be made of particles because I'm a particle.
Mm-hmm.
As we are, we expect to see, as within, so without. So we will look for a particle. We'll create a giant particle accelerator in order to look for subatomic particles, because we want our universe to be particles, even though we have a sneaking suspicion that it is really just energy.
Yeah.
And that behind that energy, there's something that's consciousness and observing it. I don't want to go there. Scientists start freaking out when they have to make that leap. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's some consciousness behind the energy. And that's me. That's you.
Yeah.
Sounding like a song, right? Yeah. So that consciousness observes, and now the yogis will say, no, that consciousness is actually the source and the creator, and that is in me. I am that. Nisargadatta says, I am that. When Who Am I by Ramana Maharshi gets followed all the way, it ends up with Soham, which is a Sanskrit most ancient, deep prayer, basic in and out breath prayer. Soham sounds very close to so I am. I am so. And there's no accident because it's the same words. I know I went metaphysical there for a minute, but some of you heard it. So consciousness is more fundamental than even energy. There's something that has a thought that becomes aware of itself, God, if you will. Then that beingness, consciousness, I am that I am, creates space-time, gravity fields, and space. It's like asking what was before the Big Bang. I don't know, my brain hurts again.
Yeah, nothing, and everything just happened all at once.
Right. What was before the Big Bang? Well, in the ancient Rig Vedas, they talk about the pregnant point.
Uh-oh, Tobias. Gosh, can't hear you during the music here, so hang on. You left off on pregnant. I hope that's not an omen. It's that time. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules, no rules. No taboo topics, no taboo topics. No fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here for a night of Velveeta sleeves and gangbangs.
No, we have to explain
Yes,
what goes on during the breaks here. So,
yeah.
So Christie,
explain yourself.
Yeah, nice. So, what came before the Big Bang? And then Christie goes in the break. She goes, the gangbang. And I'm like,
wasn't like the first commands like go forth and multiply? Makes sense to me.
Go ye therefore forth and gangbang each other. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because we started with 2 people, Adam and Eve, and then we ended up with, 7 billion or something, in an instant.
Somebody be fornicating. Some people are out there going, I know people are fornicating, but it's not me. I'm not getting nothing. Any science. This is, by the way, how we get rid of any hardcore scientists, so we don't have to deal with any of those boring phone calls.
Yeah, we did have a cool scientist phone call once, though.
I know.
She was as can be.
There are beautiful scientists. At the end of my dad's life, he started studying multiple universes and stuff. But here's what came up. It was the beginning of the second hour. So here's what I'm just going to... What are you laughing at? Stop making those comments.
Okay, we're going to be serious here, Tobias. What happened before the Big Bang?
I think you had it right. It's the gangbang. All of us as souls, potential souls, trillions of souls. We all started forming in the awareness and had a giant big gangbang, and off the thing went. And we are. Absolutely. Not totally true. Souls are made after the fact as well. But
we're just going to cancel the show this segment. We're going to do laughter yoga.
No, I love that. That was so good. Yes, Dr. Stephen Hawking, we have an answer to what occurred before the Big Bang. That's what he spent his whole life trying to figure out. Come up with it, Dr. Hawking. It was the gangbang.
That's my next video. No? Oh, my gosh.
I'm telling you, nothing can withstand the Holy Church of Irreverence. The only thing the devil doesn't have any defense against is...
the gangbang.
Laughter.
Oh,
yeah,
no. Wait,
the
no.
Gangbang. The laughing gangbang. That's right. actually. To that, then we know.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. You know what? I think we could make a whole show if, like, Adam was recording our breaks and just do, but you know, just add all the clips together and make that a whole show. And you know, people wouldn't know what we were talking about, but I think they'd enjoy it. I mean, it's really good for headaches and heart disease and circulation and, yeah, oxygenating the cells. So, all right, laughter's good. But, yes, getting back to the Big Bang.
Here we go. What I'm about to say, and this is not my ego, there is truth. In other words, in this particular universe, there is a function of how things work. I use the example. You can say, I don't believe in the sun, I don't believe in the sun, I don't believe in the sun, I don't believe in the sun. But the sun is still going to show up tomorrow, as little Annie says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun is going to come up tomorrow, whether you believe in it or not. So there is certain things in this structure of the universe, which I poetically call the song of one, the verse of one, universe. Universities are supposed to teach you that. Universities are supposed to teach you the one truth, the one song. The veritas of oneness, univeritas. Do they? Keg party, man! Keg party at the John Hall's dorm, keg party Friday, yeah! That's right.
Oh, man.
A little different than actually wanting to know truth. I remember my heart being disappointed when I got to the University of Connecticut. I thought, finally, there's going to be people that actually want to learn and study and be after truth. And keg party at Hall Towers, keg party Friday, be there, yeah! You know?
Hey, well, some of us learned a lot. We learned how to make, like, beer bongs. We learned how to gangbang. We learned chew tobacco. Let's see.
Puke out of your hair.
Yes, how to get puke out of our hair and how to hold other people's hair up when they're puking. Praying to the porcelain goddess and the flying spaghetti monster.
Thank you. I just wanted, before we actually, what I was going to say next, I just wanted to make sure if there's any scientists still hanging around that we get rid of them. I think that last exchange finally did. So here we go. Now that they're out of the room, let me tell you the deal.
Now we can tell you the truth.
We can tell you the deal. So, because consciousness is first, awareness is first, which we can't measure with instruments. You can't create an instrument. We can go into electron microscopes now, go pretty far down but we can't get into the atom and look at them with outside instruments. We can't create a microscope to look inside the atoms. We can discern atoms, I think, at this point with the electron microscope. But we reach a limit where we can't go further by looking from the outside. By looking from the outside, there's a limit to how far we can look. You have to then start looking with your inside. And consciousness creates the energy, and from that energy, everything is created. E equals mc squared is energy and matter are the same thing. Einstein shows to us with that simple formula. C is the constant in the universe, which he terms the speed of light, squared. E equals mc squared. Out of a little piece of M, you get tons of energy. That's the atomic bomb. 6 pounds of plutonium turns into a giant ball as it vaporizes into light. But it creates a giant explosion. Okay. So we as consciousness are the most fundamental thing in the universe. We are being itself. Therefore, we create space, time, gravitic fields, everything, the electromagnetic spectrum in all forms. So as a scientist, when the creator is looking at its creation, we've created everything around us. We've created everything around us. You as a piece of God, because you are. And I'm speaking now plainly, even though people's minds and egos will argue with this. But I don't care. Because there is truth. The sun does come up. There is a truth to how this particular universe operates. And in the years to come on Earth, we are going to realize, wow, without the study of consciousness, we will never get to the bottom of who am I, what the heck is going on, and how do things work. Yeah. Because there's limits by looking at it from the outside. Makes sense, right?
Definitely.
You're looking, so the scientist then that is only observing what is outside him or her in microscopes, in electron microscopes, with studies, with experiments, they're observing the effect. They're studying the creation, but not the creator. They're studying the effect, not the cause. Yes. They are, in effect, combing the mirror, as the saying goes. If you look in the mirror and you want to comb your hair, you don't go over there and comb the mirror. You need to put the comb in your hair. But science is looking at the thing, the reflection. The universe around us, the material universe as we call it, it's all energy, is the reflection, very literally, of the centers, the no-time, the zero-point energy centers in each of our chakras. Oh no, a scary spiritual word. And when they're all collapsed into the causal world, we are literally just balls of light or spheres or points of intelligence. We are points of intelligence. There is no space-time. We are points of eternity. We as beings are points of eternity. We're not even points. We can't even imagine it with our linear minds. We are eternity. We are.
Yeah.
Doesn't that start, when I say that, we are eternity, take off eternity, we are. What is that statement? It's the same thing that the Elohim, the plural God, spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. I am. When Moses says, who you be, man? Who are you, dude? Right? When Moses said that to light, the burning, the thing, the burning bush, he doesn't know what it is. It's just some light. It says back to him what? I am that I am. I need Cheetos again. That's short circuit. Right?
My eyes are glazing over. What are you talking about?
Yes. That's short our minds when Moses is like, who you be, man? What's up? Yeah. And says, I am that I am. Or she or it. All that is. That's what we are also. So when a scientist, when she looks in the outside world, she is studying the mirror, because the creation is the mirror of what you are. We're learning that more and more now, the law of reflection. As within, so without. As a man thinketh, so the world is. As you see it, so it is. What you look as, you see. Who you are determines your world. All these things are starting to ring true for us. So when the scientist is studying themselves, they are studying themselves, but only by looking at their own scat.
All right.
Do you get weird when there's biologists? Here we are in the Arctic Circle collecting polar bear poop. Right? Like, that's pretty weird. And they're like being all antiseptic about it, little tongs, picking it up, putting it in the plastic bag. We will now determine the diet of the polar bear. This will give us better information. It's like, come on, get over it. That's like scatologists. There's actually a name for these people. They study shit.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. It's cool in one way. Aspect of that as well, but that has to do with a whole other part of the world. Okay.
And that was the first word I learned in Greek, by the way.
Scatology?
Skata.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Skata nafaskashi. Mm-hmm. Well, isn't that funny? Does anyone ever wonder why the first word we learn in other languages is always, a so-called bad word?
Why I think why?
Why? Because it's fun.
Because we know if we undo the bad, then it all becomes good. If we undo the bad, it all becomes good again. So,
good one.
Studying the outside, assuming that it has nothing to do with the inside. So the scientist is actually studying themselves. Imagine if you were a being that grew up and never knew what a mirror was.
Yeah.
But when you see the mirror, you go, oh, that's a person, but it's not me. It's like animals at a certain point realize, oh, that's me. Like dolphins know that's me. Chimps know that's me. But dogs don't know that's me. I shouldn't say that. But some animals we think don't know yet that that's them. Self-awareness. So the scientist, in a sense, is no better than a cat looking behind the mirror. There's a new twist on Schrodinger's cat. Look up Schrodinger's cat if you're interested in that. The observer, does it exist? Is it there or not without an observer? Scientists are studying the mirror. They are no more advanced than the cat who looks behind the mirror going, where am I? What
Yeah. Yeah.
You're studying the reflection instead of also studying who am I? Because as I observe, and this is the dead end that science is reaching now. Cancer will never be solved unless we start incorporating the who am I part, meaning your feelings, your spiritual aspect, as they've been called. They're just consciousness.
Mm.
I saw years ago, 20 years ago, God showed me, we can all know this stuff. Once you start putting your attention on the inside, all things shall be revealed to you. Because you are a son and daughter of God, of the Most High, as it's said by one teacher. Mm-hmm. You are of the source consciousness. So as you start putting some attention on your inside, all things you start understanding stuff that only poets and mystics and musicians and scientists, like Einstein was part mystic, He would float for 6 hours naked in his bathtub till his wife start banging on the door. He would float outside of space-time, and he actually describes it as that. Einstein, he says, I would ride on the beams of light in my consciousness. Now, holy schminkies, that sounds a lot like yogis. Einstein saying, I would ride the beams of light in my mind. That's how he learned, he came up with the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
The yogi sitting in his cave going, I am riding beams of light in my mind. No, that's Einstein. Which is it? A yogi in the Himalayas? Right? It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this artificial separation, this anger at the bad publicity that God got through organized controlling religions, science rightfully said, F off, psycho-religionist nut jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They are, right? I mean, and it's possessed by this weird stuff. They, are afraid to really look in the telescope. That's crazy. True science and true spirituality, which I wouldn't call inquiry, whether it's spiritual or scientific inquiry, who cares? Throw them away. Just call it inquiry. What does that mean? I-N, question within. Inquiry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Very well said, Tobias. But we have to take a break again, so hold that right there. We'll be back with the gangbang here. Tobias Lars here on SoulJourneysRadio.com. Stay tuned.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotic.
Freedom.
Oh, yes. I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
All right. Oh, my God. I am not looking at the chat anymore. Okay. Yes, welcome back. Class is in session with St. Toby, our professor tonight.
Set it off.
We were wondering in the chat, if somebody missed the gangbang, is it still, can you get the archive? Yeah, is the archive the same thing, or do you got to get it live?
What are you talking about? There is no time, space. Come on.
Yeah,
there's no time, space. You can access any part of time, space at any time. You're a child of the universe. If you missed the gangbang, you can always go back to that time, and no one will notice that you were never there. Of course.
Okay. I just didn't know if it would be as effective and fun. But, yeah, so back to the question, well, what are you talking about?
And you're a high priestess of the space-time temple of ancient Egypt? Come on, girl. What's up?
I know.
You forgot all this?
Yes, probably, which is why I never said it. Okay. No,
it's never too late to go back to your other lifetimes and change the rules. I love those things. There are some stories on the internet, and I think they're true, of people like popping into the wrong time-space place,
Yes.
Like some guy in Ohio in 1820 or, shows up and he's from the 1920s, or, somebody shows up with a cell phone, that just out of time sequences. Time is, in this dimension, we can call it space-time, where we feel time moves sort of day after day linearly, right? In time-space, which is the flipped other side of this reality, which is as real as this, when you move about, distance-wise, you're moving in time. Here, when we move about, just let your brain feel it. Let your brain start merging the right and the left hemisphere a little bit. Right now, in this place, space, time, if we move, we're moving in space. In other words, I move from here to over there. In the inverse of this universe, which is just as real, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. It's called dream time. It's what you do at night.
Mm-hmm.
When you move in distance in the time-space place, when you move distance, you're moving in time. You're moving backwards, forward in time. Time is made by who? By you. Because you are the source of the universe. This is what we're going to be learning more and more. It's a game we've been playing, because it is kind of fun. It's like playing hide and seek, It's kind of fun to forget who you are and to get lost in your creation. We forget that we are creators. Every teacher tells you this. Everyone who wakes up, Jesus, Meister Eckhart, St. Francis, go on, Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, Yogananda, blah, 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 all of them. Say, look, there's nothing happening that's not inside you. And this is all theory, but the way you can make this real is to start doing inquiry. Query means query, and you may have to do some of the queeriness to really find yourself. It means questioning. In question. And scientists and spiritualists quit dividing ourselves. It's kind of, unless you like it, unless we like fighting each other, it's really the same inquiry. And that's why it's so fun right now, because we're coming out of that phase of being divided and conquered against one another. There's the desperate throes of those beings that want to keep us in fear and divided and conquered. By the way, I wanted to mention about the crazy news today about the ex-cop in L.A. I don't know if, I'm sure some people saw it. It's all over the news. An ex-cop in L.A. is now turned on the cops. He's shot
nice.
Daughter of one of the policemen that testified for him or with him at his hearing. He shot another cop. He's after shooting the police. live by the sword, die by the sword. What's going to start happening as the polarities are coming closer together into a fusion, the yin and the yang are merging back together now. We're mixing electro and magnetic. We're mixing space-time. There's going to be less separation. As this starts happening, all those things inside ourselves that we have avoided, suppressed, repressed, any shenanigans of people not looking inside themselves but blaming out here, blame, blang, bang, 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 shooting, being angry at blaming those around us when we're really angry at ourselves. All that's going to start collapsing in on itself. The house of mirrors is going to compress on those entities.
Yes.
Here on Earth, because that's the shift that Earth is going through into this age of fluidity, electrofluidity, and spiritual awakening. So the shenanigans, whether it's inside the CIA or police systems, they will be increasingly turning on themselves unless they evolve out of it. Okay? We're not going to be able to hide the way the church, the military, secret societies, CIA, KGB, Stasi, Mossad, Gestapo, etc., MK Ultra, all that stuff, hidden energies, all that stuff's been able to be hidden because we lived in a separated universe, separated consciousness. Your conscious and your unconscious have been separated.
Keep them separated. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're only divided and separated can you be controlled. So as these things are starting to merge in you, which means understanding of I am the creator of my reality. I'm a piece of the creator, if you will, a piece of large consciousness, God's source. And it's really all happening at the zoo inside yourself, okay? It's all inside yourself that it's happening primarily, and that the outer world is a reflection. Every teacher, Don Juan, Carlos Castaneda stuff, all that stuff. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and jump off a mountain and try to punch through granite and all that stuff. It takes some real deep undoing and some real deep reawakening of the I am that I am to get to those levels so you can walk through stone or levitate stones or dissolve your body. But it is being done. It has been done always on Earth by certain people that have remained and stayed in that knowledge and in that awareness.
And some people that do it accidentally and then can never do it again.
Yeah. Levitation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's deep programs in the collective, too. Therefore, people, again, Richard Dawkins is a good example. Watch him on YouTube, how angry he is. There's just this anger he's throwing at other people that aren't believing his way. That's really no different than, some religionists planting bombs. Those are just mental bombs, but it's no different than a Muslim terrorist or any terrorist that is, let's blow stuff up. We're so angry at them. Or us doing it, or us faking it, or, projecting it outside of ourselves. That's what has to stop. We have to start looking within, inquiry, taking responsibility for our own stuff in our own consciousness, in our own basements of our own junk, in our own trunks. We got to get rid of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm doing more leg lifts. Too much junk in the trunk.
Start throwing your junk in your own. Hey, most guys like it. Well, okay, that's another.
Okay, being serious. We're talking science and religion here, Tobias. Way too much joking around.
Too much. This is not. Yeah. It's not a scientific environment.
We can't learn anything like this.
No, not at all. It needs to be very boring. You need to sit in straight rows. You need to have no windows because windows can distract the kids. You need to be in a cement bunker. Some of our classrooms are kind of like MK Ultra mind programming underground base stuff.
Yeah.
Why are we teaching our kids in the same environment as we do CIA?
Prisons. Exactly.
What is up with that? Well, what happened to Under the Trees?
Yeah. I like that. That's my kind of school.
What happened to out in nature, sitting around in the field, out in nature and learning? Isn't nature our teacher, if anything? If we can use the reflection and true scientism, we can go out and say to the nature, show me about myself. Show me who you are. Let's enjoy the interplay. Sitting in a cement bunker, reading other people's thoughts, that's no education.
Yeah.
Education.
We don't need no education. Yeah, they had it right.
Of course, those guys are saints. Come on, man. Pink Floyd, you kidding? Those guys are like advanced souls that came here to help wake the planet up. Come on. Smoke some pot, listen to Dark Side of the Moon. Everybody did it. It was really good. St. Roger Waters.
Under the Trees. That's my kind of school.
And David Gilmour. And I forget the other two guys right now. I shouldn't. Anyway.
Hey, Toby, stop bogeying it. Just pass it on.
And I haven't smoked pot for like 15
20 minutes.
No, I don't. Not that I mind. You know, it comes up, but I don't anymore. Once you find your inner pot, you don't need outer pot.
Your inner pot. All right. Well, I got one right here in my belly, one here right below my hips. I got 3 inner pots, so I'm doing good. Woo-hoo!
Yeah. Everything will wake you up. You know, we're learning marijuana is a natural plant. Gee, wonder if that's better than man-made artificial chemicals. Duh. Right?
Yeah, pot or Prozac.
Because guess who made this outer world that the scientists are studying? This outer world around us, nature, trees, granite, whatever. Who made that? Our higher selves, our souls, God, if you will, made that. Therefore, it will be a lot more natural, a lot better, a lot more source-connected than your fallen ego chemical labs. See, you made the world. You made the world. You made the giant trees in Africa. You made wolves. That's why in the shamanic tradition, you get in touch with your inner animals. You can be any animal. You can be a pterodactyl, 100 million years ago. You can be a wolf. Because you are those things. Because you made them. You were there. Because you were here from the beginning.
Yeah.
You are eternal. So that stuff which is made naturally is made from your higher self. That which is made by plastic, that's which is Agent Orange, that which is aluminum-filled underarm deodorant, that shit is made from your fallen ego, and therefore it's not helpful for you, except as a horrible wake-up call.
Yeah.
Prozac is not made by your soul.
Exactly.
And it's made by your fallen, fearful ego, control others there, and I'll finally be happy. It will work. So you will only reap harsher and harsher wake-up calls, atomic bombs, chemical warfare, viruses, disease, mental problems, obsessive-compulsive disorders, Alzheimer's, chronic fatigue, Crohn's disease, all this stuff. Labeling mental, schizophrenic, this, that, and the other, deep fears, hells, those are being created by imagine, ever see a boat on the lake where the driver has fallen in the lake and the motor's still running?
I've seen a video like that once or twice, maybe.
Goes in circles, right?
Yeah.
Or a car that's running still, but it's just going in circles.
Mm-hmm.
That is an exact description of about the vast, vast majority of humans on the planet right now.
Sounds about right. Yep, chasing my tail.
Our egos are running us. But we're getting nowhere. Right? Until you got to stop that and go, wait, I don't want to create for my ego. I want to get back to my center. You got to get in there and shut off the engine and just sit and float in the lake for a while. You got to get back in the car, shut that off. Or park it for a while to get centered with it. So I've never thought of it this way before, but all of nature, the trees outside here, the dogs, the animal, that which is nature creates is created from our higher selves. We are creating it. Therefore, you can study nature with marijuana, with ayahuasca, with natural plants, iboga, and it will start giving you back your original mind of what's real. But if you ingest chemical, man-made, fallen ego substances, they will simply increase the fear and the pain. That's why psychotropic drugs, that's what they do. They increase the fear and the pain. The eventual explosion is that much more dangerous and harmful, therefore school shootings.
Yeah, definitely.
Natural drugs, Now, if you refine them as different, heroin, cocaine, and so forth, but if you chew coca leaves in their natural state, that's not the end of the world. If you refine it, if you refine vanilla extract and drink 5 bottles of that, you're not going to have a good...
Yeah, good luck getting through one of those bottles. Vanilla beans and bourbon.
There you go. So extract concentrating things, obviously not helpful. But in their natural proportions, instead of, we think we refine things, we re-uglify things. Leave it alone. Chew the leaves. Don't refine it into cocaine and stick it up your nose. What?
That's so crazy. Who would have ever thought of that in the first place?
Because the fallen ego needs hyperstimulation to forget about its pain.
Hey, let's pour some Drano on a salt lick, or, oh my God, who would have ever thought about those things? Anyways, it is that time, darn it. So we will be back. Hang on, everyone, these few short minutes. Last segment coming up with St. Toby One Kenobi here on SoulJourneysRadio.com.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American
It's practically narcotic.
freedom
Oh, yes, I like very much.
radio.
They're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Way too much fun with Tobias Lars. SoulCounseling.com is the website, or go to CourseOfAwakening.com. And Tobias, don't you have some events coming up at SpiritualTravelers.com here soon? Woofies. Woof, woof.
We have the destruction of your left, the membrane between your left and right hemisphere of your brain. Yes, we have these events coming up. We have the general annihilation of scientism and religionism. These are the things that I'm interested in. We have several of these events coming up. We are doing more this year, I've been sensing from my own higher self, thank you, God, of Course of Awakening seminars. So,
Branson!
Yeah, I'd love to come.
I know you'd love to come.
I knew you'd say that.
Well, it's just been one of those shows, and I let the other 1,000 go by. So, Noelle and Casey are rubbing off on me. Okay. No, it's time to get serious. We are going to sterilize everyone.
We're going to sterilize. See, this is wrong. What Christie and I are doing is absolutely wrong. In scientific circles, this is not allowed. It's supposed to be antiseptic and boring and horrible, and chalkboard and equations and computers and bodies and fluids are evil. They're just wrong. They're not the truth. Yeah?
We can't take anything he says seriously. He just laughs too much and jokes too much.
Feel how deep that is in our collective. That if Christie and I, being as flippant and ridiculous and gangbangs and big bangs and bodily fluids and this and that, it is just not, it's not serious study. It's not about the truth. What? Where did that program come up? How did that get put into us, that it has to be horribly boring and sterile for it to be true? This is why every real teacher, not the ones that take their name and come later and create the organization itis, which is much worse than arthritis, as I say. Not every real teacher is ridiculously
boring.
No. No.
Sorry, we're talking?
Real teachers break all those rules. They have fun. They are completely irreverent.
Do you remember it when you were alert and having fun? And, it's just, I don't know, those classes where you have to sit down and everything is so quiet and you're not allowed to ask questions or joke or giggle or have fun. It's like, who remembers that anyways?
Right, nobody.
Not me. I don't remember anything I supposedly learned in school. I mean, nothing. Well, except the cool teachers. Everybody has that cool teacher, right? That's like Tobias. And, who teaches you, like, life lessons that you can take with you forever and ever. Yes, we are being notified. Oh, we have a caller, and I sound like I'm underwater. Awesome.
You do. You do.
I am underwater.
You are. You're bottom of the list.
Well, I have no idea what's happening.
There you go. You're good now. You're good now.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we, I guess we'll get the caller since we're running out of time here. We got about 5 minutes left, so, open up, please. Or maybe it's not open.
Hi.
Water. Oh, there we go. All right. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm good.
What's your question, caller?
I have no question. Well, maybe I do have a question. So I bought the domain akashicporn.com.
You did? Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's getting out of control.
Here on the show, last segment. Nice.
Good.
So I was wondering.
Now your life will be to create some movies that somehow also are able to, some kind of camera equipment in the future that will be able to incorporate the energy, the finer consciousness, love, lust, sex, the etheric, the bodily energies, not just the physical, visual, but the deeper energies. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to
No, I was wondering, since the Akashic Records hold everything,
yes.
Can you, go back in time and view things?
A little voyeur, aren't you?
To see everyone doing it. I say you start with your videos.
There seems to be, in my experience, there seems to be, if you have any judgment on things, there seems to be it automatically blocks it. In other words, when we all get super psychic again, when there's nothing that we can hide, like people go, I don't want my grandma watching me having sex, right? Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right.
My grandma either.
There seems to be, in my experience, that if there's no judgment and at that level of just understanding it without, we have all kinds of judgments on sex and in our current state on Earth, right? But in the other realms, it's energy exchange. And so when you're in those realms, you don't have judgment on people in this 3D doing it, so you are allowed to watch. But without judgment. You understand? And then also,
totally, yes.
We can tap into all that. Absolutely you can. At a certain level, when, again, you have no judgment. It's a little more difficult to do it from in here, in the human body, it seems, because we still have judgments about it, like we'd be shocked about it. We have deep programs about, even if you start telling your 12-year-old son, well, mommy and daddy still do it, he starts running from the room, right?
For some people. For some people,
right. But this is a huge powder keg still for our collective consciousness. Sex is a huge one, to still deal with. But yeah, so it is energy exchange. AkashicPorn.com would be awesome. I just want the camera that could really capture it. That'd be really cool.
They could just start by, being the spiritual alternative to 2X or something.
Wait, what was that you mentioned? Spiritual?
It'd be like the spiritual alternative to 2X. Spiritual people uploading their personal home videos.
Okay.
I'm just joking. I'm actually joking about it all. But I did buy the domain because Christie said it was available. And they're having a sale, 99 cents a domain. So.
Oh, damn. Nice. All right.
No, that you're not joking about that. If you time from now, that's actually a really good idea in my opinion.
I think so too, because there's so much guilt and shame still, like when you watch, especially, Hollywood porn is just, I can't stand it because of the energy that comes out through it. Not to slander anybody who does watch that. There's nothing wrong with watching it. But,
puts me to sleep.
But there's just so much, the energy that comes through. And then I see, like, even if you watch, like, the home video porn, a lot of times there's still this nervousness and the disconnect. We got to make it dirty, and we got to make it, or closed,
So let's forgive all that. Accept that we are sexual
retards.
Exactly. We're sexual neurotics. That's okay. And we're still tender about that. We should be. Because it's either disconnected, porn that's not so healthy, or it's not incorporating it. So I just felt love as you said that. I just felt this love for, let's accept, allow, love ourselves. It's fine. We're learning, and it can only get better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you got that domain. Can't wait to see what you do with it. But we have like 45 seconds left. So, Julia, thanks so much for your call. And Tobias, I know you had something impotent to share with us here tonight.
I don't know.
Well, you left off saying because the fallen ego needs hyperstimulation to forget about its pain. And I
just like the way that came out. So science, basically, in its current mode, is not incorporating the inner. It is simply stuck on the outer, observing the outer. It will reach a dead end at that point because it is the inner, us, our souls, our beings, that create the outer. We literally are creating the outer world. So at some point, you get to that impasse for the scientist who's simply the outward scientist, the mental scientist. He will realize, she will realize, I need to also study myself. Because as I observe, so I create. My being present, I am creating. So they're very literally studying themselves. So true science is what I call the inquiry then. Look within, question within, include the inner and the outer. Don't separate them. Buddha's eyes are half open. He's looking half inside and half outside. This includes all of the creation.
Awesome. Very well said, Tobias. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and every Thursday night. Yeah, thank you for showing up despite our abuse. And thank you, Daniel and Adam and Danny, for letting us do this together. And thank you all for joining us here and, sharing your time with us. Of all the places in the world to be, you chose to be here with us. So that makes me feel good. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Abundant blessings and love to you all. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Soul Journeys Radio. That's right. 7 to 9 p.m. Central, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And check out AmericanFreedomRadio.com for the other great hosts and archives. Have a wonderful night, everyone. We will see you next week.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.